D, wait for it, delightful.
Check out the name tag. You're in my world now, Grandma.
What's up, nerds? So I'm coming at you right now. I want to do this breakdown and review of Doom Patrol episode 3 before it gets too late, and then I have to do it tomorrow and all this stuff. But I want to say two things before I get started on this. The first one is that I am not feeling well at all. So this might be very low energy. I'm going to try my best to power through and not be, curmudgeon-y, but I can't promise anything. I'm not feeling very well right now. I'm in a very bad mood. Not so much that I'll take it out on this episode, because this episode of Doom Patrol, I liked it. I liked it a lot. I mean, I just thought it was good. That's the thing about this show. It's very niche. I keep saying that, but it's so true. And I wish that a lot more people watched it. I don't know anybody else that watches this show in my personal life, and it bums me out because I'm like, it's a pretty good show, you guys. And yeah, I just, but I can see why people aren't getting into it, because like I said, it is very niche. And this April Bowlby, I love her so much. Rita Farr is my favorite character in this show, and this episode was very, Rita focused and everything. Yeah, and the second thing that I want to say is that if you like what I do here and you enjoy independent content here on YouTube, please consider subscribing to my channel. YouTube is always changing up their algorithm, and small channels like mine, we just keep getting shoved to the back of the line. So please ask that you like, share, and subscribe, and I thank you in advance. All right, you guys. So now that we got that out of the way, the business portion of this program, we're going to get started on this episode. So it starts off at the mansion, and we get Rita Farr, and she's pigging out, because she has that metabolism of hers. I'm jealous of her metabolism. Apologies. And she's having a martini there. Jealous also. And she's watching an old movie or TV show. I'm not quite sure what it is. I don't know if this is a real TV show and they just put it in this episode, but yeah, it was very fun, very fun. And she's talking to the TV, and I think she calls this girl a cow, and I was like, that's funny. So then the doorbell rings, and she's like, door, and she has to get up and go get it herself. And she sees this little flyer, and it says Rita Farr retrospective. And it's a star from the golden age of Hollywood. And I thought that was really fun, with all our little movie posters there looking very nice. And she's like, oh, they're going to put on a retrospective of me. Somebody appreciates me. So then we hop over to Crazy Jane. And she's like trying to not deal with this puzzle. And so she's trying to focus on anything else. And finally, she puts on this little record player. And finally, she's just like, screw it. So she jumps down and she grabs this puzzle. She's like, I hate puzzles. I have to be honest with you, I'm not a fan of puzzles either. So she picks one up, and it's got an eye, and she sees, I don't remember her name, but it was the lesbian lady that created the fog in the last season 3 from the Sisterhood of Dada, which ended up being not the best bad guy. And so creates this fog, and then she has an orgasm. And then she's all like, that's it on that. So then we hop over to Detroit, where Cyborg meets his friends from the past, these 3 dudes. And he meets them at this little laser tag place, which is always fun. I used to work at a laser tag place. It was pretty fun. The owner sucked, but, you got to, play laser tag and got to deal with all that stuff. And it was pretty fun. So then these guys, they're basically talking about the past. There's obviously some animosity towards Cyborg, because they're like, oh, you don't have your tech anymore. And they're like, oh, you're not a superhero. And talk about his artificial skin and all that stuff. And he's trying to act like everything is normal, like nothing changed. And you'll find out later, it did change. Then they left him. He left them. And even though he was grieving for his, the loss of his mother and his body, basically, they were grieving the loss of their friend. They didn't get to be with their friend anymore. And maybe that was a little insensitive on his part, but at the same time, I'm kind of on his side, when you have something so dramatic and traumatic as losing your mom, and in the comic books, he loses like his whole body. They should have. I mean, a small piece of me wonders maybe if they should have been a little bit more sympathetic, you know. But he's trying to. They talk about this robot that they built together for some science thing when they were younger, and they talked about how this friend has got a program with some kids, and he's like, "Oh, I'd love to volunteer," and he's like, "Oh no, we're all good," kind of thing. So then we go back to Larry, and he's having a problem with, and I can't remember the name of the little electric baby that's inside of him, but he's trying to talk to him, and Madame Rouge is like talking to him. She's like, listen, it's gone. You know, the electric baby's gone. She's like, what else can you do without the electric baby? And he's like, really nothing. And she's like, okay, well, she's like, I'm just enjoying the quiet and trying to, you know, gather my thoughts kind of thing. So she's sitting at her retrospective, eating her mounds of popcorn, because I like popcorn. I don't know how you eat popcorn. I know plenty of people, they just like to grab a big thing of it and they're like, you know, me, I'm a one kernel at a time kind of person. I know. So my wife is like, so weird. I don't know anybody who eats it one kernel at a time. Listen, back off. Okay. Oh, my head hurts. Okay, so she's watching them and she's like, I guess nobody's showing up or they're all late. And so we watch A Secret Rendezvous. She's like, oh, this is my debut movie. And so she's watching it, and then this like mist thing comes over. She's like, do I smell cotton candy? And then she's brought into the movie. So then back at laser tag, they're sitting here chit-chatting, and I can't remember exactly what they talk about. Oh, this is where they talk about him losing his mom. And they're like, you know, we've talked about you this whole time, but you don't even know anything about all of us. And he's like, all right, tell me about it. So he tells them, they tell him and everything. And that's when, all this stuff comes up. And again, I don't know how to feel about this. I get both sides, but at the same time, I'm all like, the friends are being a little like, I don't know. You ever had that where you have friends and then like you leave for a hot minute and then they just like become better friends and then they don't want to, like, I don't know, bring you back into the fold because maybe they've changed so much. I've had friends like that. It didn't work out. So this is the laser tag champions, undefeated. So they're like, we should take them down. So they decide they're going to do it. So she wakes up and she's inside her movie. And these people are playing the role. Now, all these people are real people, but they've been kidnapped and put in this movie. And so he gives her this little diamond thing, and it fills up. And hold on, I'm going to try to get it. And so while she's doing that, see, every time she does that, hold on. Every time she plays into it and they all play into it, this gem does this, and it starts to fill up with her emotions. So these guys, she sits here and she's like talking to him, and she's like, you remember when, you know, that Flex guy flexed us and we had an orgasm? He's like, you know, orgasm is the best sensation in the world. Not gonna lie, no lies detected. Facts. And she's like, well, I saw the foggy lady's eye in the puzzle piece, and it was sensual, the orgasm. And I'm all like, what? Okay, whatever, it's cool. You two were tribbing in the fog. I get it. It's cool and everything. So then they decide that they're going to support Rita in her retrospective at the movie theater because she found the flyer. Hold on, let me show you. She found the flyer. So they're all going to go and support Rita Farr, which is totally good. I thought Rita wasn't a bad leader, in my opinion. She obviously won them many a battle, and they didn't respect her for it. So it's like, whatever. You guys suck. I'm on Rita's side, 100%. Sorry, you guys. So she's doing this whole thing, and she's still doing it. And he's like, and Larry knows all her movies. Of course he would. And then so he's all like, this is so-and-so, her first love. And she's like, you are my first love. And he's like, can you just do the movie? He's like, I haven't seen my family in years. You have to play along or whatnot. I can't remember exactly what he says. And then all of a sudden he's just like, and then he disappears. Hold on. Let's play that. And then he just disappears. And so while they're doing that, she's like, I think Rita is in the movie. And they're like, yeah, we know. No, I think she's in the movie. And they're like, what? And then she disappears. And then we get this fog coming over. And he's like, do you smell? I don't remember what he smells. And And they're like, oh shoot. And they pop into the movie themselves. And she turns into a bird. And hold on, I'm gonna do this. She turns into a bird and she flies away. I'm happy that they showed this because I don't think they show her shape shifting enough. Okay, moving on. So she's in a scary movie that she did, and she's all like, this movie scared me. And this little boy like pops through or whatnot. And her emotions are filling up in that little thing. He's like, hey, this is the gazebo from Midnight Rendezvous or whatever it was called. And he meets this guy. And I can't remember what his name is. But that's what's his face from Heroes. Sanjaya or whatever. And he's all like, oh, I'm a friend or whatnot. So they start talking. I can't remember. He starts feeling, like he's like, hey, you're cute. You're cute. I like you and everything. So she's like, where's that flyer? So she finds the flyer, and at the bottom it says Dr. Janus. Now, I don't know who Dr. Janus is, you guys. I'm not too familiar with all of Doom Patrol's villains and stuff, because I bought an omnibus. I think there's 4 of them, but I bought the first one, so I think I have to read through it. But I haven't gotten to Dr. Janus at all yet, so I don't know if I'm going to or not. But she's like, oh crap. So she finds the file and she finds everything on how Dr. Janus except for how to defeat Dr. Janus. She's like, F you, Mars Colder, asshole. And yeah. So then they're inside this movie and he's like, this isn't scary. And then all of a sudden they hold on, they turn around. Hold on. And then this kid's like right there and they're like, ah, and everything. So they run, they hide in this closet, and then he's like, why don't you go out there? And she's like, you're made of metal, you're indestructible and everything. And this is where she talks about how the orgasm was sensual. These guys are playing laser tag and they're winning right now. But then they duck behind and then they start having a conversation. And this is where he brings up this thing. He's like, you abandoned us. You left us. Detroit is a great place, but it has its faults. And I just want to say right now, Detroit is in my home state. I'm in Michigan. I live in Michigan. Detroit, I will not go to Detroit right now. It's like going to downtown Fallujah. It's fucking gross. I wouldn't step foot in that town. You couldn't pay me to do it. Yeah, it's fucking gross. Anyways, okay. So he's all like, you left us kind of thing. And he's all like, yeah, I had to grieve my mom kind of thing. Like I said before, I get both sides. I really do get both sides, but I'm on Cyborg's side. I'm sorry. And they get taken down because he brings it up now. Out of all times to bring it up, you bring it up now. Hooker face. We're not in the mood right now. We're playing a game. Get your shit together. So then this is where she tells about the orgasm is sensual and everything. And then hold on, the closet door is open and there's Larry and this new dude. So she's all like, I will not. He's like, hello, will you bring me my cup of tea or some crap like that? And she's all like, you pooped your pants on set the whole entire time. And he's all like, listen. He's all like, hold on, let me get back to him. Because he's like, listen, lady. He's like, you got to do whatever she says or she's going to hurt your friends. She's like, what? And then that's when she disappears again. So Madame Rouge instead of helping, she gets drunk, which is, always a good idea because she's trying to save them. She's a horrible leader. I just want to say that. Rita was a better leader than her. At least Rita was like organized and prepared and stuff and like, set up a good, plan. She's just getting drunk, bad leader. So then she leaves and the electric baby comes in and he starts looking through the things because he's like, I'm going to figure this out. So she wakes up in a sci-fi movie and her friends come in and she's all like, this is, he's like, I didn't know you were in Star Trek. And then Larry's like, it's not Star Trek. It's da-da-da. This was her only flop. And she's like, this was the only movie I did just for the money. And I was like, hey, sometimes, you got to do it just for the money. You know what I'm saying? You listen, sometimes you got to make that paycheck, So then this guy's all like, you can call me 1.1 or something like that. Or 101 or something like that. And he puts her friends in this little cage and then he sets this little, and then this is Dr. Janus, which I'm like, okay, whatever. And then they set these things and like, your friends are going to cook to death if you don't hurry up. And he's like, we want what you never, had the rights to, your emotions, which I'm all like, That doesn't make any sense. Of course, she has the rights to her emotions. Something about like they were never yours before to begin with, or something crap like that. And I'm like, I don't think you know how emotions work, Dr. Janus, but whatever, it's fine. I'll go with it. So she's all like, either I save my friend, either my friends die, they get cooked. Oh, they don't have their powers, by the way, which of course they wouldn't. She's like, so I either try to save my friends and fill this little emotional thing up for you and you win, or my friends get cooked to death. And she's like, now you're learning. So then she goes on there, and while she's going, she's all like, she's like, I blamed Miles for everything, but this was my fault and all this stuff. And her thing gets filled and it flies over to Dr. Janus. Hold on, let's get that. And she gets it and she's like, Immortus will rise. And I'm like, okay, this is all for Immortus. Immortus doesn't seem like that great of a bad guy. I looked him up. He's not that great, but whatever, it's fine. And then so she walks off and she falls and this guy tries to save her. And he's like, don't let go. And then she's like, and everything. And then the baby comes in and shatters all of this. She's like, he's saving us. And then he flies into this dude. Hold on, let's show it. Flies into this dude. He's like, no, don't do it. And he's like, boom. And he's like, no. I'm pretty sure that guy will be back around. And then they land inside the movie theater where Rita is passed out. And they're like, Rita, and everything. And then these guys, I don't remember what they say here, but he's like, it was good seeing you guys. And he's like, check you later, my dude. And he gives him a little robot, and I'm all like, when is he going to become Cyborg again? Because he's not cool when he's not Cyborg. And then they bring Rita back to the mansion. Oh, this one. And then they bring Rita back to the mansion, and they're like, Rita's passed out. We need to get her help or some crap like that. And then that's the end of the episode, you guys. So like I said before, it was a good episode. I enjoyed it. But like I said before, it's just so niche, this show, that I think that people, like, if people don't watch it, I totally get it, because it's weird, but it's a good weird in my opinion. Like, I like the show. Even though I'm sick right now, I sat and watched it and I was like, I mean, like, I'm pretty drowsy just because I've got so much drugs in me right now. Nothing illegal. It's all over the counter. Just calm down. It's just got like what's that Benadryl stuff called? Where I'm just really tired. But yeah, I really liked this episode. And I can't wait for the next one, episode 4 next week. All right, I'm gonna wrap this up, you guys, just because I've already told you how much I like the episode, but I really like that Rita Farr. I really like her. That April Bowlby. I hope after that, I don't think it's going to get a season 5. But if it does, I'll be watching it. But if it doesn't get a season 5, I hope that April Bowlby gets more work, because she's just fantastic. And everybody else in here. Everybody else is fantastic too. I'm trying to devalue their contributions to the show. I just like April Bowlby. Anyways, all right, you guys, tell me what you guys thought about this episode. Did you like this episode? Did you not like this episode? Who was your favorite character on the Doom Patrol? Do you think that Immortus is a great bad guy to bring in here, and that Dr. Janus lady? Tell me what you guys think. Go ahead and leave all your comments in that section down below. If you like this video, go and hit that like button. I won't mind. If you're new to my channel, please hit that subscribe button. I'd greatly appreciate it. And we'll see you guys on my next Doom Patrol breakdown review. Hopefully not, drowsy. Check you guys later. Bye.